Seguimos en Zona Deportiva y también para efectos en nuestras redes sociales, en Facebook, en X, en TikTok, en YouTube. Una entrevista muy especial porque vamos a platicar con Arquimides Ordóñez, que es pues el nuevo refuerzo, podríamos decirlo así, de la Selección Mayor de Guatemala, pero un jugador que ya conocíamos muy bien por distintos motivos. Por temas de comodidad para Arquimi, la haremos en inglés. Así que, my friend, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Welcome back to Guatemala. I guess it would be the appropriate thing to say. How you felt coming back here for a second, stint with Guatemala?
No, it's been nice. It's been a warm welcome, and I'm happy to be back. Everyone's been super nice, and it's just been really good vibes.
Yeah, and the most important objective already check, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Winning against Dominican Republic and making it to the last round of the World Cup qualifiers.
Right.
So how does that make you feel? Because there were a lot of expectations with you coming back. I think you had a very good game when you came into the second half where to complement what Guatemala needed to make the comeback, score the 3 goals. And now we are closer than ever, one would consider, to making it to somewhere that we've never made it before, which is the World Cup. And do you, even though being here for a short term and in this stage, feel very compromised with that situation, with that objective?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we have a really strong team, and I feel like we're very together. We have a lot of new pieces that we're trying to add, including myself. So I just feel like we're in a good moment, and I think we just need to continue building off that. We have the Gold Cup games coming up. We want to build off of that. So it's just an important year for us in general. But
exactly,
you see a lot of promise.
Yeah, Luis Fernando Tenas, one of his better, I'd say, traits, or what he's being very praised for, is that he keeps a team with a good synergy, that he makes sure that all the players get along, and there's camaraderie, and there's like a family situation going on. Do you feel that right away since you just got here again?
Definitely. Yeah. And it definitely helps with Coach. Like Coach Profe Dennis, he's for me, you want a coach who's up front, but you also want someone who's you can go and speak to, and you're not afraid to talk and express any points or anything. And he's really good at being open to communication. And I think all the players recognize that, whether you're speaking in Spanish or English, you can go speak to the coaching staff and they'll talk to you, So I like that dynamic that they have with the team.
That's great. You were born in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we were speaking off camera. You told me that you got that your dad is from Guatemala, but he grew up in Baltimore. And so you've been between Baltimore and Cincinnati growing up, I imagine. I suppose he's the one that got you into soccer. At what age did you start playing, and when did you start realizing maybe I can, dedicate to this?
Yeah, I have 2 older siblings that, they also play football.
Okay.
And I think I started when I was 2, but watching them, I always wanted to, get involved. I didn't want to be left out, and I'm the youngest in the family. So I think seeing my older siblings play, from my dad teaching us, even my mom, she was involved in that aspect too. But just seeing my older siblings involved, they would want to see me try to play with them and not feel like not involved in the game.
But when you're a younger sibling and the other ones also play soccer, and when you play with them, probably they wouldn't consider too much that you were the younger one, and that becomes an advantage later in life,
100%.
right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, then Cincinnati, you played for your hometown team, so to speak, in the MLS. But when you started playing soccer, Cincinnati didn't exist yet when you in your youth stage.
Right.
So you went to Columbus, which was, I suppose, because it was the nearest club that you had from home.
Yeah, 2-hour drive every day.
Yeah.
I think the season would end in mid-June, so that's a long time of my dad driving me up
back and forth, right?
For a good amount of time, it was just my dad. I was the only person from Cincinnati who was making that trip up. Later, towards, as I got older, there were more kids that ended up doing the same travel as me and going up. So we would create a carpool. But initially, I think the first 4 or 5 years, it was just my dad driving us and taking my brother and I up.
That was a big sacrifice.
Huge sacrifice.
Was it worth it in the sense that it was a good club and then it gave you, good tools to become a soccer player?
Truth be told, I would not be the player I was today if I did not go and play with Columbus Crew.
Excellent. Okay.
Like, a lot of the stuff that I learned early on, and just kind of like, we had a really good, the coaching staff that I was introduced to. I mean, Nico Estevez, he's the head coach at Austin FC. Greg Berhalter was the coach at Chicago Fire.
Of course, yeah.
U.S. national team.
U.S. national team. Mm-hmm.
Josh Wolf, I mean, he was the head coach at Austin as well.
Yeah.
All the players, a lot of them are professional in the MLS right now. So I was just introduced to like professionalism at a very young level.
Great. And I'm sure you recognize the importance your dad had in making all that sacrifice.
100%.
Back and forth every day.
A lot.
So he definitely believed from day one that you had the talent to where you are today. That's still very early in your career.
Right.
Right? How were you able then to play with Cincinnati? Be lucky to, have the two teams from near home to be the first two teams you play for professionally.
Yeah, I really lucked out because the decision to go to Cincy, it was a difficult decision because the year that I went was my junior year in high school.
Okay.
And then at the time, like, I always wanted to go professional or play professional.
Yeah.
But also I was thinking about college as well. And I was thinking about what's the best situation for me to get the most looks for like college and where I'll be able to showcase myself in the best way. And I knew a couple players that on my Columbus Crew team were leaving potentially, and I didn't know how the landscape of the team was going to look. We didn't know if the Columbus Crew team was still going to be around because there was talks about Columbus going to Austin at the time.
Okay.
So I had to make the decision of, going to another MLS team and restarting everything. But, ultimately I'm thankful for the decision that I made.
And I was going to ask, because you probably had a lot of college ¿cómo se llama? Offers, yeah. Full scholarship and probably schools. If you want to stay near home, probably Ohio State or something like that. I don't know if they have a good soccer program.
Yeah.
But was it difficult to put college on hold or to skip it for now because to keep the soccer career going?
Definitely. I mean, but also my parents prioritized me still going to school. So even if I was signing, the MLS has a partnership they had it with the University of South Carolina, but now it's with New Hampshire, I think. And so either way, I was always going to go to school. It's just a matter of if I was going to go to school to play football or was I going to go, if I had the opportunity to play
because now with technology and with how the world is, you can do online. You can study while you play, even if you don't play in the US. If you play elsewhere, you're doing now in Europe, right?
Yeah.
That's good. So you're still studying then while you play.
Yeah,
that's great. This is a question probably a lot of Guatemalans have. How did it come to be that you came to the Guatemala Under 20 team? Because obviously you were a very important part in us making it to our second World Cup.
Yeah, honestly, it's a funny story. Coach Laredo, Profe Laredo at the time, he was friends with someone who was really close with Cincy. His name's Sammy, and he was really close with all the players. He owns a restaurant there that a lot of players would go and eat at.
From the players from the team of
Cincinnati.
Okay.
And so Sammy introduced or Laredo was introduced to me from Sammy.
Okay.
And then they knew that I guess you guys knew
your dad was from Guatemala.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So then that connection kind of started from there, and he came to a training session and watched me train. I think I was 17 or 18 at the time with the first team. And we had dinner or lunch after the training, and he just spoke to me about what they want to accomplish and how they see what I can do for the team, and just the plans of what we want to do with the U20 team. And I looked at the opportunity, and I just was why not? This seems like such a good opportunity for me to play in U20 qualifiers. Why would I turn that down? So it just sounded amazing.
Was it surreal how fast and everything happened? Because from a conversation from a restaurant owner who knew the coach to suddenly you're in the qualifiers and you're beating Canada and you're beating Mexico and you are the top scorer. You're getting all this attention prior to the World Cup. Was that surreal? Was that you have to pinch yourself at some moment that how did this happen so fast and it went so well?
It was a bit surreal, but going into the qualifiers, I came with expectations of myself and goals of myself, but the way it happened, I was a bit surprised. I will say after the Panama game, when we won that game, I kind of saw oh no, we have a team that
there's something special in here.
Exactly. I saw we could do something, and so we did do something. So